Well, good morning, good morning, good morning.
Action.
Boom. We're all here.
Hey, there he is.
I don't like this setup. I like the other setup.
Oh, with the countdown?
No, the framing of our screens. I know you always
Oh,
choose this one, but I don't.
Oh, you want the three?
I like the close up. I don't like seeing my room behind me.
oh, like
Yeah,
that.
that one.
There we go.
Like that. Oh, okay.
Sorry, I was sick and then it came back. I don't know what's going on. So I may be muting myself again, coughing and sniffling. Hello, everyone.
Oh,
Hello,
Michael.
hello. So I'm measuring. Your beard has grown by half an inch. So good for you.
It is. It is growing. Okay, so I feel I'm like, oh, it's longer. I'm going to be braiding it soon. Just kidding. All right. First of all, I'm going to chime in here. I'm just going to take the floor. Two things. Ben, you're going to be left out of this one, but I'm hanging out with Joel on Sunday. I'm heading down to San Diego. We have an event there, an important event, and it's
San Diego, baby.
Yeah, baby. It's all Joel's doing, right?
Oh,
Joel
cool.
taking the
All my
initiative.
doing? Okay.
Well,
you gotta give Ara a little credit now. Come on.
True. Well, but you're the one who initiated, so
All right. I'll take a little. I'll take a little
Joel's
credit. That's fine.
Because I had this event at a Armenian Apostolic Church in the LA area, and Joel's like, we need to do something like that down here. Oh, there's a church over here. I'm going to go talk to them. And so Joel
Oh, cool.
and Ara, who's here in the comment section, joined him to go.
You there,
Just kind of,
Ara?
yeah, he's here.
Coconuts
just,
love you, right? That's his.
Well, that he has two actually.
Oh, okay.
So he's here with his normal, and it says Ara Kulayan.
Oh, there. Okay.
And so.
Oh, hey, Ara. Yeah, I see you.
So I'm sorry. So Joel, this is several months ago or a couple months ago, Joel and Ara showed up, just kind of cold call at the doorstep of the church. Now they had
Beautiful
reached out
church.
ahead of time. Yeah.
Beautiful
and so
church.
This is the day,
Stunning.
this Sunday, June 30th, having a big event down there. Well, not a big event, but I'm being platformed, if you will. I'm being welcomed by
Love
the
you too,
church
Ara.
to speak. So, and then the other thing I want to say, I know we have our topic for today, but how are we going to stay away from last night's debate?
Well,
You know how?
I can help you out with that.
Let me mute myself because I want to listen to you guys.
Go ahead, Ben.
So go for it, Joel. What do you think?
Well, no, I can stay out because I didn't watch it. I'm gonna watch it. I can't watch political stuff before I go to bed. I can't.
Yeah.
I was like, so save it for the morning, so I have a whole day to process whatever. Whatever gets me that day or whatever. So
my wife and I are the same way. We didn't watch the actual debate. We were just watching the highlights afterward. And Mark Dice had a fantastic video covering everything. Yeah. So, which one was more masculine? Let me just say that. Okay.
Or as Saturday Night Live put it, ¿Quién es más macho? Google that if you want to laugh. Google ¿Quién es más macho?
The nursing home patient might have been masculine at some point in time, but let's just stop wasting everyone's time. Let's get him into a nursing home where he belongs, so he can get the actual care.
Was it that bad? Was he really that bad?
It was horrible. It was a train wreck. Meanwhile, my boy, number 45, DJT, he kept his cool. He actually kept his composure. He was cool the whole time. And he knew exactly what CNN was doing. He knew the game that they were trying to play. CNN was trying to, shut him up. CNN couldn't do anything because they were too distracted by the current resident-in-chief crumbling. It was bad. So Trump just I'm going to sit back and let him fail. That's what happened, basically.
Okay.
So Trump had enough masculinity. He had enough masculine energy to know when to fight and know when to rein it back and let his enemy crumble. There you go, Michael. There's the masculine connection.
All right, I'm gonna distract us just for a second.
Go for it.
I'm gonna make fun of EU. Do you have a bear? Do you guys all have a bear? You all have a
it's a
bear.
brown bear. Yeah. See, it's brown.
Yeah, well, mine's an old gray bear.
Yeah. Oops, I clicked the wrong one. Beard. Yes.
Mine's not really a beard. Mine's a Van Dyke. This is not a goatee. This is a Van Dyke.
That's technically a Van Dyke, as in Dick Van Dyke.
Goatee would just be the chin.
Oh,
is that associated with Dick Van Dyke, or is that pre? It's just
I think that's pre. Yes.
Oh.
I never saw Dick Van Dyke with this. So.
Okay, so it must. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so I did see some snippets as well. You never interrupt an enemy self-destructing. That's from The Art of War, right?
Yeah.
Which is also a very masculine book, by the way.
What's the name of the author, Ben?
Sun Tzu.
Sun Tzu. Yeah.
The ancient Chinese war philosopher. Yes.
Yeah. It just stepping back and looking at the apparatus that allowed for last night to happen. It was an inevitability, right? It was an inevitability. You're going to come to a point where you're going to have to debate what are the optics. If Biden doesn't agree to a debate, what are the optics? It's like they have to weigh these decisions. Like, okay, we'll have a debate. Let's see how we can control. Hey, let's put it on CNN, right? That'll be favorable to him, and then we'll make all these rules, as many rules as possible, favorable to him, because they have in their mind that Trump is this out of control beast, right? They just can't escape something more than a normal human, right? That he's like somehow more evil and uncontrollable, right? So in the back of their mind, like let's just stack the deck and tip it towards Biden. But what they did is actually they stripped away any possible distraction. And Trump had to say nothing, and it exposed the truth, right? The truth was laid bare last night. Biden is a puppet, and there was nobody there on stage that could shove their hand up that puppet and make him do what they want him to do. He was left alone, and the entire world. I'm imagining China going, it's like
China's going, we better attack Taiwan now because while this guy's in. No, I think I don't know. But those kind of things were said when at the last election. I mean, nobody thought Biden would last. I didn't think he'd last 2 years.
Right.
But here he is still here.
He didn't, by the way.
No, he didn't really. But and there is someone by his own admission who is in the background in his basement. Pulling all the strings, and
Barack.
Yeah. So, and he's admitted to that, and I think that's clearly the case. But so there's only so much you can do. There's only, at some point you've got to put him out there. I think the last election he just was in his basement the whole time. This time he's been in office for 4 years, and they've got to have him out there to account for something. Because
the leader of the free world, right? That's what we're watching. The purported leader of the free world that can't finish a sentence, right? Can't finish a sentence, can't walk on his own, right? Can't go down one step by himself without assistance.
So before the debate, CNN was touting their new muting system where if the person goes over their time or if they don't like what they're saying, they'll just mute the person, right? So they thought this would be their trap to finally get Trump. But again, Trump's not stupid. He knows what's going on. So when it came time, their plan went out the window because Trump was like, okay, I'll wait for my time. And when this bumbling idiot stops giving us a word salad, I'll respond with quick, clear, concise responses. And that's exactly what he did. And it was actually,
I think it was last time a couple of times ago, Ben, you and I were talking about this. I don't know if Michael was there, but I'm like, turn it back to masculinity for a second. What we were talking about, Ben and I were talking about before we came on, I was reading 2 Timothy 1:7. It says, for God has not given us a spirit of timidity, but of power and love and self-discipline. And if there was something ever missing from Donald Trump, it was self-discipline. If he has found self-discipline, this could be something very interesting, because I think a couple of weeks ago we were talking about, I'm like, well, here we are, Christian world. Our best hope is Donald Trump. The best hope for Christians. If that doesn't say something about the state of the current church and leadership and the current evangelical and wider church, nothing does. Our leadership has been so poor and so timid and so unmasculine that our best hope is this billionaire playboy who purportedly beds porn stars, right? And
allegedly.
Hey, if I was running around New York, a young man with billions of dollars, I'm not throwing stones at anybody, right? But that's our best hope, because our leadership has been, worse than feckless, whatever feckless means. But if in his presidency, Trump did claim to have a spiritual awakening. He did claim to be a Christian. I remember at one point he tried to. I just said 2 Timothy 1:7. He at one point said, like it says in 2 Corinthians, this, and everybody kind of laughed at him. But I'm like, he's a young Christian. He doesn't know, But if that was legitimate and real, and not just for political gain, which Trump is, I can't see Trump doing anything that's not genuine, but just because he doesn't care what people think of him. He just is who he is. But if he's discovered self-discipline, we could have a juggernaut here. So
that the accusations are right. He just does things for political gain, for photo op or the optics, etc. But he has. I mean, I have a little bit of insight, or I met a guy recently that is apparently on Trump's spiritual advisory board, or I don't know if it's like an official, they all know each other or anything, but there's a guy who's he's a non-Armenian, an American like you and I, blue-blooded American, who has become a missionary to Armenia, and also he's just very active on social media. And he I think he's in Iowa, and Trump had come there, and he did the opening prayer, and then he prayed for Trump, and Trump invited him onto the spiritual advisory board. And so this guy's had at least some closer, in-person contact with him. And this guy's a sincere Christian minister, like a young guy. He's like 27, but he's like, he believes Trump is legit. Like, any young Christian is going to, like you said, say things that are kind of cumbersome to Corinthians. But it seems like he's obviously only God knows, but he is making a lot of the right decisions, and is the clear choice, right? If you want the strength of your nation, your Christian nation, to move forward.
Well, so this past few days since our last talk, I've been thinking about how to really define the word masculinity. Like, what is it? What one word? What can we use one word to describe masculinity? After a few days thinking about it, I came to one word being discipline. That's it. What is it? It's discipline. It's you being disciplined in whatever that area may be, whether it's being more disciplined in your walk with Christ, whether it's being more disciplined in working out, being more disciplined taking care of your family, working a job, being in that job, budgeting your money, being more disciplined in running for the presidency, being more disciplined in going through and enduring countless attacks on your character and on your family, and still moving forward. All those examples are examples of masculinity, because they all require discipline. So then that begs the question, okay, what's not masculine? What's unmasculine? How do you know someone is not masculine at all? It's when they're not disciplined. When they have no discipline whatsoever, they either sit and wait for things to happen in their life. They blame others for their issues. They don't want to take responsibility. They don't want to move forward at all. They just want to stay stagnant. Like, those are just a few examples of not being masculine. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I just figured the word discipline is what makes someone masculine. So, real quick, what are your thoughts on that?
Joel.
Who goes? Oh, I always go first.
Not everybody at once.
Yeah. No, Ben and I were talking about it before we came on, and discipline. We were talking about 2 Timothy 1:7. God has not given us a spirit of timidity, but of power and love and self-discipline. And that's a spirit. It's something maybe that the Holy Spirit gives you. And the root word of discipline is disciple. So we're all disciples, like Jesus had his disciples. He taught them, he changed their lives, really. He invested in them and gave them that spirit of discipline it goes along with strength. It goes along with obedience to God's commandments. Jesus said, if you love me, you'll follow my commandments. And when an emotional, oh, I love Jesus so much, I'm so in love with Jesus. No, you love me, you'll discipline yourself to obey my commandments. It's clear. If you love me, you'll do what I command you to do. I think it's strength. I think there's a definition of meekness, which is strength under control. And so that, again, brings to mind the idea of discipline. A man has got to rein in his strength, especially, I think EU said earlier, behind every man is a good woman. And that's true. But in front of every good woman, there's a man who's as strong for her, under control, and disciplines himself to use his strength for the betterment of those around him. So I think it all ties together. The masculine, there is a masculine spirit. It's strong, it's disciplined. A friend of mine, Dave Murrow, wrote, he talked a lot about men in church, and he wrote the book, Why Men Hate Going to Church. And then he followed up with one called The Map, where it talks about the journey of a man through life, where he starts off in submission as a child, to mostly female authority. And then in the middle of his life is the journey of strength, which is the big journey of him becoming a man, becoming an adult, becoming fully masculine. And at the end of his life, the third journey is sacrifice, where, he does everything he does is for the benefit of those around him. And he eventually sacrifices his life so those after him can live. So, masculinity is a very complex thing. And why it's devalued in modern society is because it's a threat.
Right.
To the lack of discipline and everything else that men bring to the table. Everything a true man brings to the table is devalued, to say the least, in our modern society. So,
Michael, if you can get a great segue from that in, because Joel brought up a great point on how it's hated in our society. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, maybe we talked about this last week, but this notion of the patriarchy, right? When you're an activist and looking to rally people around a cause, you have to have a demon, right? You have to demonize something or someone. And so there's this notion of feminism that has been usurped, or right, like true feminism would mean that women should become more like their natural tendency to be womanly. Like when you remove all like kind of forced institutions that are trying to make things equal, right? Or like let's give women a leg up because, right, they're disadvantaged or whatever. When you remove all of those artificial metrics, and women get to choose the careers that they want, and men get to choose the careers that they want, women gravitate to the nurturing careers, and men gravitate toward the action careers and the building and I saw that. So if you're a political animal and you need an enemy, you have to target an enemy. So patriarchy. Let's make patriarchy evil. Like you take the word and you say patriarch and you demonize it so much that whenever somebody says it in the media, the majority of them go, oh, evil, right? Oh, that's evil. It's like, well, no. Patriarchy is a design, right? It's a godly, divine design. He created men and an authority, a hierarchy, right? We all have roles. There are roles and positions, and femininity is also God's design, right? And so it's not this evil thing. Yes, there are men who are evil and give it a bad name, but there are women who give feminism a bad name. And so I did want to hark back to something that Joel said. Well, a couple things. One, there's a verse that says, the man who does not discipline his son hates him, right? So it's not masculine to not discipline, right? To put some structures in place for your son is loving him. It's masculine to love through discipline. It's not that people think love just means touchy-feely. No. Love is very, very difficult, very hard, very cruel seeming at times. True love. But then the thing that Joel said that I'm glad he went there is the word meekness. And I think meekness is maybe not exclusively a masculine trait, but I think it really emphasized what masculinity is, what meekness is. Because in the English language, that word rhymes with weak. It just is kind of the default thought. It's like, oh, I think meekness is just weakness. And au contraire, it's literally the opposite of weakness. It's knowing your power. It's knowing that you are a monster, that you have the ability to destroy and wreak havoc and create suffering. As a man, you have more power to do that than a woman does, right? You have power. You are a beast. You are a monster. And what is meekness? It's recognizing your ability to destroy and restraining yourself and holding back until you need to unleash it in the proper circumstances. That's masculine power.
What's that one quote? I think it was it's better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war. Right?
Yeah.
I would much rather be someone who was battle scarred, who was tending a garden.
It's a beautiful picture, right? The seasoned warrior that's planting some seeds,
delicate flowers, than a gardener in a war who's going to die without question.
Right.
You know,
and get those around him killed too. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Those he loves.
Because this all exists within a society.
Right.
Yeah, you're like Michael said. We have men have a tremendous capacity to destroy, as evident by all the men who haven't disciplined themselves or weren't meek in reining that in. And it's funny too, because Michael was talking about feminism. Feminism really is masculinism. That's how it's played out. Yeah. Is women trying to make other women more masculine.
Hear me roar.
Yeah, hear me roar. Or, I'm going to go into all the, I don't need a man. I can do all the things a man can do. Well, good luck with that. But then they've taken all the worst aspects of masculinity and it's a corrupting thing. It's corrupted women, really, by trying to be something they're not. They've really corrupted themselves. And feminism is one of the most destructive elements of our society because it's not really feminism. It's masculinism, trying to pour masculinism into the wrong vessel. Yeah. And like I said, and men are we're the right vessel to constrain our masculinity and our strength. Women don't have that same vessel. You pour strength and the ability to destroy into a female vessel, and they don't have the strength to control it. And I think that's what we're seeing. So.
I think next week we could focus on that, on the feminine side, and focus on what real feminism is, acknowledge the women in history that were actually women who did amazing things in history and who stayed women. And the next week we could talk about how real feminism is at risk of being wiped out because of this modern age push. And the irony is, I can't tell you how many videos I've seen of women who fully embraced this modern day, satanic version of feminism.
Yeah.
And they grow old and they realize, I have all this money, I am successful, I've been that girl boss, I've been independent, I've been powerful, and I'm completely alone. I come home to nothing. And they realize, holy crap, what have I done?
Cat lady.
And I think that really draws the point. What is feminism?
Fur babies, yes, I know. Yeah.
Next week we can really focus on, like, there are things women can do that we can never do, and that's okay. There are things we can do that they can never do, and so I think that'd be a good thing to focus on.
When I ponder some of these just amazingly successful lies, right, that have really gained a foothold, like that notion that because most CEOs are men, that it's a suppression of women, right? That pernicious lie that, well, let's look at statistics, because most CEOs are men, it means that's proof that the patriarchy is holding the women down. When I think of those kinds of lies, I'm like, that's like kindergarten playground taunting level intellectualism, right? That's like, you're so stupid to think that that's a rational idea, but they put it on slogans and bumper stickers and billboards and march in the streets with the absolutely lowest level of intellect, right? It's like Satan capitalizing on people's idiocy and emotion. It's like, no, men and women are designed differently. If you have a woman that's a CEO, she's not going to be a really good nurturing mother. It's impossible. And so most women want to be good nurturing mothers, so they don't pursue that, right? It's just that simple. You can explain it that simply. But even if I said those simple things, I'd be banned and canceled for hate speech. It's like, what? Come on. Are we on a kindergarten playground? Let's like, time to grow up. Hello, when are we going to grow up? And I think last night's debate was kind of a big wake up call for people that have been believing those stupid, pablum that's been fed to them by
I think one benefit, one good thing that has come from all this satanic idea that a man can be a woman and a woman can become a man. One good thing that's come out of all that is that women have come out of the woodwork and saying, no, we are women. We have these spaces for women. No, you're not a woman. Don't you dare act like you're a woman now because you got changed. You are not us. And I think that's really igniting a younger generation to realize, hey, there are differences between men and women, and that's okay.
Yeah, and that's funny that the end of feminism might come by the actual threat to the end of the word female. I mean,
right?
if I can just throw on a dress, and we were locally a couple of years ago, we were at a beer garden thing, and they had a beer stein holding contest for women, and there's women, and there's this 6'4", 240-pound obvious man with a wig on and in a dress, and he won the whole thing.
Of course,
everybody was all like, "Oh yeah, he won." And I'm like, "Well, okay, this is gone. This is a tipping point now. If you can, it's the thing of the Marxist way or the kind of the thug way, totalitarian way of making someone something so outrageous, but yet forcing them to admit that it's true when it's obviously false. How many fingers am I holding up?
Mm-hmm.
But no, it's not 4. It's however many I tell you. Well, that's not a man. Yes, it is, because I just told you have to admit that that's a man. And if you can get people to do that, they will. So that to me is like we're faced with. I think women are realizing this feminism will eventually lead to there being no such thing as a man or a woman, which means there's no such thing as a woman. That's not what it set out to do. First wave,
and all the years of fighting for women's rights is now worthless.
It's now worthless. It's caused the extinction of us. That has to be a reality that sets in for women at some point.
Yeah.
So. All right, gents, it's almost time. Again, great session. If that's cool with y'all, next week we'll focus on the feminine side and dive deeper into that.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Michael, if you want to sign us out, that'd be great.
Good to see you, gentlemen. Time flies when you're having fun. Actually, time flies whether you're having fun or not. But this is fun. Love you guys. God is in control. See you guys. Bye.
Thanks, guys.
Take care.
See you next week.